is a retired theater and film teacher and former state director of the Louisiana chapter of the International Thespian Society. Paul received his bachelor's from St. Joseph Seminary College and his master's in drama and communications from the University of New Orleans, where he was honored as an outstanding graduate and best graduate director. He has worked as an actor, director, writer, mime, puppeteer, and technician over his long career, and has made his career in educational theater and media arts education, spanning over 5 decades. Paul has taught in New Orleans at Mount Carmel Academy, Ben Franklin High School, where he was awarded Teacher of the Year in 1999, and the New Orleans Center for the Creative Arts, where he served as department head of the Media Arts program. Paul's writing credits include Hold Fishy Tight, Jibber Jabber, One Star Rising, and a number of musicals with composer Bobby Moore and choreographer Kenneth Raphael. Their company, Write Your Own Musical, did residencies at various schools, creating original shows with students in 1 week. He was the head of the Playwrights Unit at the Contemporary Arts Center, has served on many theater boards of directors, including the Dog and Pony Theater, Goat in the Road Productions, and the NOCA Foundation. Currently, he is a member of the Dramatists Guild and their former Louisiana ambassador.
As the Thespian sponsor at Mount Carmel Academy and Ben Franklin High School, Werner has left an indelible mark on the theater community and his students. Widely recognized for his passion and dedication, Mr. Werner has been pivotal in shaping the dramatic arts landscape in Louisiana. As a Thespian sponsor, he nurtured countless young talents, providing them with a platform to explore their artistic potential. His commitment to excellence has transformed Mount Carmel Academy and Ben Franklin High School into the beacons of creativity and artistic innovation. During his tenure as the Louisiana State Chapter Director for 6 years, Paul spearheaded numerous initiatives to promote theater education across the state. He initiated the annual Louisiana Thespian Scholarships, which have helped aspiring actors and actresses pursue their dreams in the performing arts. Werner's relentless efforts to highlight the importance of theater in education have made a lasting impact on the lives of students and professionals alike. In addition to his significant contributions to the thespian community, Paul Werner has also hosted the Louisiana State Thespian Conference in New Orleans 5 times. With his exceptional organizational skills and attention to detail, the conference has become a premier event in the state theater world. The induction of Paul Werner into the Thespian Hall of Fame is a testament to his unwavering commitment and tireless dedication to promoting the performing arts. His passion for theater has inspired generations of young performers and uplifted the theater scene in Louisiana. The recognition of his contributions is well-deserved, and the thespian community celebrates the momentous occasion. Personally, I never stop marveling at Mr. Werner because his passion and work in theater are never done. And as his former student, he is at the center of my best high school memories and was inspiration for my own career. He provided me and many other directors with opportunities and skills that would enable us to work as a theater educator and directors. I feel confident in saying that, would it not be for Paul Werner and his tireless work for Louisiana Thespians, none of us would be here today. As a director and theater educator, I often find myself thinking, what would Mr. Werner do? Paul, I am so proud to be your forever student. We are so pleased to honor you as the first inductee of the Louisiana Thespians into the Louisiana Thespians Hall of Fame.
You can never do the play Gypsy unless you have a Mama Rose, and she is a delightful one. They told me I could say a few words, and the first thing that comes to my mind is I get away from a podium, because you're on a stage, you might as well use it. The last time I was on this stage, I wasn't receiving an award. In fact, I was holding a mop in a bucket, because it was the year 2000, and I was at Ben Franklin Academy. And we were doing Pippin that year, so I had done a series of stage combat workshops and taught about it, mixed stage blood and different kind of effects. And so my troupe decided for their opening presentation, they would do a war scene like in Pippin. And what the audience, like you, saw was a group of actors out here with swords, clubs, knives, guns, killing each other. You saw heads flying off. You saw arms being ripped off. You saw bits of brain flying across the stage. By the way, if you cut up sponges and dip them in stage blood, they make great brain parts. This one requirement I made of my students was, make sure you're the last group on the stage, because we have to clean it up. So the last time I was on this stage, I was with a mop and a bucket in my troupe, getting all the blood off, and it looks like we did a good job. I never intended to be a high school theater teacher. In fact, I never intended to be a teacher. I went to the seminary to be a priest. When I was in high school, I was into sports and photography. I was on the yearbook staff. But my senior year, I got into one play. They did a senior play every year. I had a walk-on 5 minutes. Didn't ignite any flames, didn't get me excited. I went off to college. But somehow in junior year, I got into the drama club as the assistant director of a show and started to see all the work and all the teamwork that went on. Started to get a little excited. And then they were going to have an acting contest at the end of the spring. And so I got a monologue and I did the acting contest and I won it. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Maybe I should try something with this. Well, at that time, my family had moved to Atlanta and I was doing work by the day in one of the parishes, but my evenings were free. And the summer of 1969, when I was 21 years old, turned out to be magical. That was the summer that I had lived with Julia Roberts, and at the end of the summer, I had married the daughter of Martin Luther King, Yolanda King. Now that was a pretty magical summer, right? What has that got to do with theater? Well, when I was a seminarian, Julia Roberts was 2 years old and in diapers. Her father was the head of a theater company, and I auditioned to be in that theater company. Yolanda King was 14 years old. She played my wife on stage. But what I found out is they did 5 shows in 12 weeks. We did a show every 2 weeks. The first rehearsal, you read the first act. The second rehearsal, you read the second act. The third rehearsal, you blocked the first act. The fourth rehearsal, you blocked the second act. By the 5th rehearsal, you were off book for the first act. By the 6th rehearsal, you were off book for the second act. Then you ran the show for a couple of days and put it on stage, outdoor theater in the park. And we did that, a new show every 2 weeks for the summer. By the end of the summer, I had done so much theater in one block of time, and it was so wonderful. I caught the bug. So Walter Roberts, Julia Roberts' dad, put that seed in my heart that this is something special. This is something really that you can live your life on. So I ended up in grad school at the University of New Orleans. And while I was there, they had a guest artist named Tony Montanaro. He was a mime who studied with Marcel Marceau. I never thought a man could fly until I saw Tony Montanaro become an eagle on stage. And as he spread his wings and started to fly, I had to keep looking at his feet to make sure he wasn't off the ground. And I said to myself, I've got to study with that guy. So I went to his barn. He had a barn that he converted into a theater in Maine. 6 weeks, 24 of us from around the country studied 8 hours a day doing mime. And what does that do? It's a lot of physical work, getting your body good, trying to do illusions, trying to make your body do what you want it to. But more than anything else, he taught us about using your mind. Because what mime is all about is seeing a character, seeing a place in your head, and then make your audience see the same thing that you see. He made me believe that you can create theater out of nothing, just with yourself. So I had a gift from Walter Roberts on what theater was like and how you love it. I had a gift from Tony Montanaro on how to believe in yourself and believe what you see and hear in your heart and mind can come out on stage. So then you find myself, who was not intending to be a theater teacher, not intending to be in theater, sitting in the office of Sister Mary Grace Danos at Mount Carmel Academy. Where are my SDK people? Many of you may know Sister Camille Ann Fowler. You think she's a tough cookie. Sister Mary Grace was about this tall. And after teaching there, I found that I could never walk into her office and say no to her, because whatever she asked me, I would end up doing. So I got in the habit of walking into the office and just saying, no, what do you want? But that first day in her office, She was believing in me, a man who had never taught a classroom in his life, who had just come out of UNO's MA program, and she trusted that I could do the job. She trusted that I could do something that I had never done before. She believed in me. Now she hedged her trust just a little bit, because when she gave me the contract, she put the amount in pencil, $7,500, and she signed it in pencil. And I said, "Sister, shouldn't that be in ink?" And she went, "Trust me, I trust you." And so, okay, I signed the contract and I became a teacher there. About a year later, something else happened to me, is I had run into a composer, who's a street musician who wrote songs, and we became friends. And that fall, over the Thanksgiving holidays, I was a chaperone for the senior trip. We went to New York. Well, by this time, I was a theater junkie like a lot of you. And a new show had just opened up that was selling out. It was called A Chorus Line. I waited in the snow for 2 hours, and finally this car drove by, and they dropped off 2 tickets that I could have for that night's show. Well, Sister Lawrence, who was on the trip with me, and she didn't wait in the snow though. So I saw this play, A Chorus Line, that was written by actors, by performers, by dancers, talking about their lives and developing a play about themselves and becoming a musical. So, brave young Paul Werner said, "Oh, that sounds great. I'm going to write a play about my students. We'll do 24 hours in the life of these students." So imagine yourself, you're coming back from the Christmas holidays, and your director walks in, and they say, "What's our spring musical?" "We're going to make one up. We're going to do it. I got a composer friend. It's going to be about your lives. We're going to improvise it. We're going to just do it." And so we spent 2 months coming up with sketches and improvisations and the composer writing songs. And then we had a date to put on the play, April 9th. A week before the play opened, we didn't have the final scene. We didn't have the title of the play. We didn't have the last song. I was getting a little bit nervous because Sister Lawrence says, "I got to put a title on the program." I say, "I don't have it yet. Can you wait till Monday?" Well, that Saturday, my composer was walking down the street, and jasmine were blooming. He smelled the jasmine. And that was the key to him to make the final song. Because in our play, one of the main characters was a young girl whose parents were in the middle of a divorce. And she was very distraught. And she had opened up to us about this, which actors tend to do. They just spill their guts out. And we said, "Do you want to put that on stage?" And she said, "Yes, I do." And so Bobby wrote a song. And the scene was set up that she was thinking about suicide. And she comes to her medicine cabinet and grabs a bottle, and the lights go out. And you don't know, did she take something or not take something? And we did a dream sequence called Jasmine. And the jasmine were flowers being brought to her funeral in her dream. But in that dream, she also saw all the people in her life that were on her side, that were reaching out to her, that were her friends. And at the end of the song, she wakes up and says to her parents that she loves them. Because in her dream, she saw this one star coming out, the star that you wish on. And there was a lyric in the musical called "One Star Rising." And it was about that star that you wish on, that you put your dreams on. And her dream was to tell her parents she loved them. Well, opening night, when we did "One Star Rising," and that girl sang that song, there wasn't a dry eye in the theater. And I realized what magic it was to create something out of nothing, to create it out of the lives of the people I worked with. And it wasn't the most perfect play, it wasn't the best musical, but it came from the heart, and it was out there for everybody to see. And that was the rest of my life on stage, doing things from the heart, trusting my actors. And the greatest gift I got was that my students trusted me. They had never done an original play. They had never done an original musical. I had never done one. But I believed in myself. I believed in that composer. And more importantly, I believed in them. There's a certain gift that theater teachers have, is they look into you, they look at your eyes, they look into your souls, and they see what you might be able to become. And very often, you don't see it yourself, and they open that out for you. But it's the trust that the students give in us that allows us to see that. And it is a great gift that you give your theater teachers when you trust them and when you're willing to listen to them. And it's a great gift we have that we see things in you and try to build you up. And I've had a student win an Oscar. Robin Matthews won an Oscar for makeup a couple of years back. And it's a wonderful thing to see that one of your students has reached that kind of accomplishment. But I am as happy as I can be when I see my former students who have little kids and their mom or papa, or they have gotten a career that they're interested in. I don't expect most of my students end up in the theater, but I end up knowing that the theater made a change in their life. And I'm really happy about that. If I change some lives, like Ms. Ducote says, then, that's precious. Because honestly, $7,500 a year that I got was not a lot of money. But the gifts I got from my students made it all worthwhile. Thank you very much.